Hey guys, it's me, and today I am here with a new installment of my Am I Gonna Buy This series. A series in which I talk about the new product launches from the past month and talk about whether or not I am interested in picking them up. Am I going to anti-haul them, or am I just going to roast them? I'll also touch on any makeup news that might be popping up here and there throughout the past month if I feel inclined to talk about any of it. Most of the time I don't. Mostly I just focus on the new product launches and then just move on from there. It went very monochromatic today, even with my outfit, so yeah. Although my pants aren't monochromatic at all. I'm not very flexible, so I can't get my legs up here, but just know that I'm wearing a Golden Girls t-shirt right now. Stay golden. And then I have on Golden Girls pajama bottoms that are blue and have Golden Girls written all over them and stay golden. So yeah. Also, by the way, if I seem a little bit off today in this video, yesterday was a very rough mental health day for me, and yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. We're not gonna talk about it right now because I don't want to risk having another meltdown. But yeah, we got a fair amount of products to get through in this video, so we're gonna go ahead and dive on into this. But before we do so, if you guys are new here to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, and also while you're down there, definitely give this video a thumbs up because that'll help me out a lot. All my links are down in the description box below, and yeah, let's get started. So the first launch that we are going to be talking about is from Lunar Beauty, and this is the Life's a Drag Facelift palette. So this is the rebranding of this palette, which was Lunar Beauty's first palette, which I really wanted to have, and I had been eyeing it on Mercari for a hot ass minute, but I decided not to go after it though, just simply because like I don't necessarily need it. The main reason for it was because of the fact that people were marking up the price on it so much and everything, because of the fact that it was so hard to get because it was sold out for such a very long time before it was announced that that original palette was being discontinued and that they were launching this newer version of it. But this is a new version of it, and I have to say this, I love it so much. I really love this version of the palette. There are now 21 shades. The original only had 14, so there are 7 new shades in both like the neutrals and the brights categories. There's also a new shimmer shade in here. It works just the same way as the previous palette. You have your neutral side, and then you have your bright side, and then in the middle you have your shimmer shades. And this is such a gorgeous and stunning palette. I really do like it, but the main thing that just calls to me in this palette is the green. The green shade in this palette just does it for me because it's a proper green shade. There are so many greens in palettes that pull very teal or blue toned. This one is like a proper green shade, and I just love it. It's so good. It's such a lovely green shade, and I really do want this palette. I was so close to getting it, but money is very tight with me now. I've talked about this many times before in the past that I am broke and unemployed right now, and so forking out about $55 in total, like for both the palette and the shipping and everything, is just a bit too much for me and whatnot. So I was just like, we're just gonna put this on hold. We'll get it later and whatnot. It's permanent, so if it sells out right away, there'll be a restock sometime in the future, so just get it when it restocks. This is a new launch from KVD Beauty, and it is the Fanatic palette. And this is a very neutral heavy palette, and some of the shades in here are quite pretty, but it's just nothing exciting, which is just really sad because the concept behind KVD's products now is that the packaging is like totally sustainable and everything, because like their eyeshadow palettes and like even with the like the Good Apple foundation, is that what it was called, like the packaging on these products are completely recyclable. Like there's no metal, there's no magnets involved, so once you're fully done with the product, you just throw it in your recycle bin and you're good to go. And I love this concept so much, but the problem that I have though is that when it comes to the palettes, at least, they're just not exciting. They're just not very exciting, and like KVD palettes have been this way for years. It's been before the rebranding happened initially a couple of years ago. Like their palettes have just always been just so boring over the last couple of years, and I just I want something more exciting. I want something more exciting from them. Like, I'm hoping that they'll release like a Brights palette soon, and hopefully it'll be good quality, because that's something that I just truly want. Because like the palettes that they have released so far, with this recyclable packaging, they've been just very bland. They haven't been very exciting, and I apologize for the lighting. The lighting is going to be absolutely horrific in this video because it's very cloudy today. There are a lot of clouds out today. I do plan on getting a ring light soon, so yeah, I'm breaking my no-buy to get myself like a mini ring light. Anyways, moving on into another palette that I definitely am not going to be getting, and I am totally ashamed that this palette exists, but this is the monthly Birthstone palette from BH Cosmetics, and this is for June. So it is Pearl, and this is such a disappointing palette. This is such a boring palette. June is my birthday month. I turned 26 in June, and this is the palette that we get. June and Gemini get the worst shit ever when it comes to like special things and like makeup and whatnot. And it's just so disappointing. It is so disappointing. Like, pearls are very basic in general already, but you can spice it up though. I heard some people say that they could have gone for like a very like pearlescent, opalescent type of like vibe and everything, like making like mostly like topper shades that are very like colorful and transformative and everything, and just do something really interesting like that. But instead they went very basic and just ugh. Okay, so next up we have a launch from ColourPop, and there are 3 palettes in here. They're not all part of the same collection, but they are just new palettes that all launched around the same time. 2 of them are palettes that launched exclusively at Ulta. As of right now, they are only at Ulta. They'll probably come to ColourPop's site soon though and everything, because usually they do come eventually to the site after a while, but as of right now they're only at Ulta. And those are the High Tide eyeshadow palette and the Fine Feathered eyeshadow palette, and those 2 palettes are really pretty. The High Tide isn't really my thing because like these types of blues, I already have so many like tealy blues already in my collection. I don't need a palette that's entirely made up of them. But the Fine Feathered palette is really pretty. I do like the tones in it. Do I necessarily need it? No. But I do like the idea behind it and just like the color scheme behind it. But there's a palette that did launch on ColourPop's site though, and this isn't a palette that I want. I don't want this palette at all, but I love the name of it. Like the concept behind it and the name of it is just perfect. And it's a dusty neutrals palette, and it is called Lust for Dust. I love the name of this palette. I low-key want to get this palette just for the name alone because I just love the name of it that much. It's so weird. It's so campy and just bizarre, and I just love it. I love the name of this palette so stinking much. Next up we have a new collection from Huda Beauty, and this is the GloWish collection. In here we have the GloWish Multidew Vegan Skin Tint Foundation, the GloWish Soft Radiance Bronzing Powders, the GloWish Airbrush Finish Skin Tint Brush, and then the GloWish All Over Bronze Brush. So the brushes I'm not interested in at all because they're just brushes. The bronzers I'm interested in, but at the same time, when it comes to me and bronzers, it's a very like dodgy experience all the time for me when it comes to bronzers and whatnot, because they tend to pull very orange on me because of me being quite pale and everything. Even if it's like a bronzer that's formulated for fair skin tones, they tend to just pull very orange on me for whatever reason. Or if it's like a neutral tone one, I have to be very careful with them because sometimes they might pull a bit cool toned on me. The light shade definitely pulls a little bit more neutral. It still has a bit of warmth to it, but it does look a bit more neutral. I might try it out. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody talk about them, so we'll have to wait and see about that, but they look gorgeous though in the pan. Now the tinted moisturizers, these skin tints, I would love to try them out. The problem is though, is that a lot of brands that are releasing these skin tints and tinted moisturizers right now are mostly putting out neutral undertone shades, which is totally fine. But the problem is though, is that a neutral undertone product most likely is not going to look good on me whatsoever. I know the reason why they do a neutral undertone, and that is because a lot of times when it comes to neutral undertones, they can skew either which way sometimes and can work a lot better universally. But the problem is though, for me, is that no matter if it's like a very sheer product or if it has coverage to it, a neutral undertone just does not look good on me. They always just wind up looking very strange on me. I don't know why, they just do. I learned this because I have the ABH Luminous Foundation in the shade 140N, and it's described to be a neutral peach undertone. And you would think that with it having that peach tone to it, I mean being pink undertone, it would at least like look somewhat good on me. But for whatever reason, on its own, it looks really strange on me. I'll pop up a picture of me just wearing it on its own. It looks weird. It looks weird. It just looks very strange on me, and you can tell that it isn't my shade. And then I tried the Becca Doing Skin Tints last month, and I liked them, but I mostly did not like them. And the reason why I didn't really like them, for one, it looked like I put a liquid illuminator all over my face. They weren't dewy, they were glowy. And then also like the second shade, which I thought would be a good shade for me, wound up being too dark, but the undertone was right. And then the lightest shade wound up being the right shade, but it had a neutral undertone, so it didn't match me at all. It looked as if like I had makeup on because of the fact that the undertone was off. When you look at the swatches, you can see that the lightest shade, which would be the shade that I would have to go after, definitely pulls neutral in tone. And because of that, I'm not going to be able to wear it. And it just bothers me so much because I love light coverage stuff on me. I want to have a tinted moisturizer to actually work for me and to benefit me, because yeah, I know I can mix moisturizers into like my foundations to sheer them out. I know I've done it before in the past, but the problem with doing that though is that you can sometimes wind up looking very like slimy, and I don't want to look slimy at all. I want it to look like my actual skin. It's just such a difficult thing, and it's so annoying to have to deal with this. And so many brands, when it comes to them putting out like tinted moisturizers now, they're mostly putting out neutral undertones. And I just wish that they would just like stop pussing it out and putting out just like 12 shades and everything, and actually put out like 30 something shades and actually have multiple undertones in each range. Like I know Fenty released some tinted moisturizers recently, but the thing that worries me though is that they have a natural finish and not a dewy finish. And because of the fact that they have a natural finish, it's most likely going to look very matte on me, and it's going to cling on to my dry patches. And I have very, very dry skin. So it's most likely not going to be a product that'll look good on me. But the thing is though, is that out of all the tinted moisturizers that have been coming out lately, that line has the best shade range. Yet, most likely it's not even going to be able to be a product that'll work for me because of the fact that it has that natural finish. Ugh, it's so annoying. It's so annoying having extremely dry skin. Next up, we have a new launch from the Norvina collection over at ABH, and this is the Norvina Volume 5 palette. And this palette, I've heard some people say that this is what the Norvina palette from ABH was supposed to be like, because when you look at this and compare it to the Norvina palette from ABH, the color story is very, very similar in tone. Like you have like your purple tones and then you have your neutrals, and it's very much like that, just on a bigger scale. I do really like the color scheme of this. It's just that when it comes to these bigger palettes from the Norvina collection, sub-brand, whatever it is, these bigger palettes just are a bit much for me. They're a bit much, and they're also really expensive. They're 60 bucks a pop. But I do like the formula on these. I have all three of the minis that they've released so far. I hope that they'll release some more, especially for the Volume 4. I really want them to release a mini for the Volume 4, because out of all the mega palettes that they've released, Volume 4 is the one that I have liked the color scheme of the most. We got a new launch from Jaclyn Cosmetics, and this is the Bad and Rougie collection. So in here we have the Mood Light Luminous Rouge, which are loose powder blushes, and we have the Rouge Romance Cream to Powder Blush Sticks, which very self-explanatory as to what those are. Then we have the Rouge Romance Matte Blush Palettes, which are 6-pan blush palettes that come in 2 shades. And then we have the Rouge Romance Lip Cushions, which I believe these are a type of liquid lipstick that doesn't dry fully matte or anything. So it's kind of like just a liquefied bullet lipstick. This is a cute little collection. Am I going to get anything out of this? No, because when it comes to me and blushes, because even though like there are cream blushes in here, because of the fact that it's said to have a cream to powder type finish, I do worry that it might not work well for me because of how dry my skin is. I'm worried that it might emphasize texture. I mean, I only have but one powder blush in my collection and I'm wearing it today. And it's because I know that this particular formula actually looks good on me and everything, but other powder blush formulas that I've tried in the past, they just make me look dry. And then with the blush palettes, I don't need those because they're powder blushes. And then loose powder blushes, that's a very interesting idea. Very interesting concept. I really like that concept. It's just that, again, it's a powder, so it's not something that I am going to get any use out of. And those lip cushions, I love the idea of them, but I don't need them. And I love the packaging on them. I think the packaging on them is so cute. Next up, we have a new collection from Makeup by Mario, and this is the Soft Sculpt collection. And there are 5 different products that are in this collection. So in here, we have the Soft Sculpt Shaping Sticks, which are 6 dual-ended bronzing / contour sticks. Then we have the Soft Pop Blush Sticks, which are 6 dual-ended cream blushes. And then we have the Soft Sculpt Bronzers, which are powder bronzers that come in 6 shades. We have the Soft Pop Powder Blushes, which come in 5 shades. And then we have the Soft Glow Highlighters that come in 5 shades. And then lastly, we have 3 double-sided brushes. Again, kind of like with the Huda Beauty collection, the brushes I am not interested in whatsoever. And then same thing goes for all the powder products that are in here, including the highlighters. Although the highlighters definitely do look pretty, powder highlighters do not look good on me because they always emphasize texture on me. It doesn't matter like what formulas it is that I'm using, powder highlighters always emphasize my texture, and because of that, I just can't use them. Like today, I'm using a cream highlighter. I'm using like a little sample of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter for Superstar Youth Glow today. And I really do like it, but I have a product in my collection that's like this already. It's the Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand, which I got in, I think it was the 3rd and final boxy charm that I ever got. But these blush and bronzer sticks, I am very intrigued by because I've seen people use them and they look stunning on the skin. They look very easy to use and the formula seems to be really nice, and I definitely am very interested in them. Makeup by Mario is a brand that I am very intrigued by because I remember when the brand first launched, I could tell immediately that this is a brand that is created by a professional makeup artist, which for those of you who don't know, he is the Kardashians makeup artist, or at least Kim's makeup artist. Even though I do not like the Kardashians whatsoever, Mario is such an amazing makeup artist, and I just find them to be just like very genuine, very down to earth, and just very nice and friendly. And so I'm very interested to try out his brand. It's just that until now there really hasn't been anything that I've been interested in enough to try from the brand. But these blush and bronzer sticks though, I am very much intrigued by. Okay, so next up we have another launch from the Norvina line from ABH, and we're just going to talk about this very briefly because this is the most bizarre thing ever. They released potted lip balms. Yeah, I love a good lip balm. I'm a sucker for lip balms. I love them so much. But for one, I don't like flavored lip balms, like ones that are like fruity. They're $18. They're $18 for potted lip balms. For a lip balm, it's $18. Honey, no. Alright, so next up we have another collection from ColourPop, and this collection here is probably one of the most disappointing collections from them that I have ever seen. And that is the Neon Electric collection. They could have done so much with this collection. The only thing from this collection that truly just like fits the theme are the lip oils. They have 3 new luxe lip oils that they have for this collection. They're all like neon colored, but because of the fact that they're lip oils, they're very sheer in coverage. So it's not like wha-bam coverage or anything like that. And the palettes that are in this collection, they're so underwhelming because it's a 5-pan neutral palette with a pop of neon. A single neon shadow. And it's just like, if you're gonna do neons, commit to it and just go full blown neon. Like, have like a full blown neon palette. Don't just half-ass it like this and just have it a single neon shadow in with a bunch of neutrals. I understand like their reasoning behind it because they talked about like why they did it this way, and that was to like help encourage people to like step outside of their comfort zone and to just do like a simple pop of neon if you're not used to working with bright fun colors. But ColourPop has been putting out like these monochromatic bright colorful palettes for years now. So why couldn't they do like a full-blown neon 9-pan palette? We have a new collection from Glamlite, and this is done in collaboration with Mikayla. And Mikayla is a TikToker, and I don't know jack shit about TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I definitely want to try to get into it, but it's just, I don't know if it's really my thing, because I'll watch like TikToks that pop up on my Twitter feed or on Facebook, or if I'm watching like a YouTuber that I watch do like a reaction video to TikToks. It's not something that I have actively sought out. It's just like with me and Vine. Mikayla though, I find her to be such a interesting and lovely person, and she has launched like this full-blown collection with Glamlite. So in here we have the eyeshadow palette. It's a 30-pan palette. I know I talked about the Norvina palette being a bit overwhelming with it being like a bigger palette, but I do really like this palette. And Glamlite, I don't even know Glamlite. Actually, they do have a smaller palette. They launched a small palette last month, I think it was. They generally do like these bigger palettes though. But they have this eyeshadow palette. There's a pop and highlighter, a lip gloss set that has 3 different shades. And then there are 2 3D faux mink lashes. And yeah, that's everything that's in this collection. So the glosses, I'm not much of a gloss person. I'm still very new to the gloss world, so gloss just isn't my thing. Also, lashes are a new world for me, so. And then like this highlighter, it's a powder highlighter, so it's not going to be something that's going to work for me because of my dry skin. I definitely want this palette. It has sold out. It sold out like very, very quickly. Like, people really wanted this palette because I mean, like, Mikayla, she's a big deal on like the makeup side of TikTok. This palette is just such a pretty color story. The neutrals in here I really do like, and then the brights in here are also very pretty. I will say this, I do wish that there was a little bit more variation in the brights that are in this palette, because there are a lot of purples and a lot of greens in here. I still really want this palette. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get it, but I would love to have this palette. Yeah, another ColourPop collection. As usual, there's a lot of ColourPop in these videos, but this is their second Hello Kitty collection, and this one is a lot more exciting than the last one that they did. I really like this one. Am I gonna get anything from it? Most likely not, but I do like this collection a lot more than the original one that they put out. So in here we have 4 4-pan palettes, we have 2 blushes, we have a lippy scrub, and then we have the glowing lip balm set, which has 3 different lip balms in it. And this is just such a cute little collection. Like, the eyeshadow palettes are really cute. They're little monochromatic palettes, and each one has like a different fruit in them, I believe. The blushes are very bright and vibrant and punchy. And then there's these lip balms, which again, I mentioned earlier, I don't really like fruity lip balms. And then there's a lip scrub, which I haven't seen anybody put out a lip scrub in a hot ass minute. So that's really interesting to see, to be making a comeback again. But this is such a cute and fun little collection. I love this one a lot more than the one that they did earlier this year. Was it earlier this year when they last collaborated with them? Or was it last year when they did their last collaboration with Hello Kitty? I can't remember, but either which way, that one was very boring. Next up, we got a new launch from e.l.f. Cosmetics, and they are adding more stuff to their Putty products, and these are their Putty bronzers. I am very interested in these. I am very, very interested in these. I still want to try their Putty blushes, but these bronzers though, I'm so curious about these. I wish that there were swatches on this trend mood post so I can see how they look swatched. I seen one of them in this photo here, and it is very cool toned. Like, it is just straight up gray. But there are 8 shades and they're $6 each. Ooh. They have argan oil in them. Ooh, I actually might not be able to get these after all. God damn it. I'm allergic to argan oil, so ooh. I might get them in the future. If I see them pop up at Ulta, then I'll get them. That way I can be able to return them very easily. Next collection that we got here is from Lurley Los Angeles, and this is a little collection done in collaboration with Laura's niece, Erin, and this is the Candy Skies collection. And in here we have the Candy Skies eyeshadow palette, and then we have 2 glosses. The eyeshadow palette is super cute. It's a pastel palette. And there seems to be like a shimmer that goes with each matte shade in here, and it's very pastel. There are some deeper shades in here as well, but it's mostly just like pastels. It's a very cute little collection. So I might get this palette. I don't know though. I don't know if I'll get this palette. I do want to try out this brand though, like I said. I just don't know if this will be the first purchase or not, but I definitely do want to try out Laura's brand. Again, we have more ColourPop. This is a very ColourPop heavy video. Normally I don't include this much ColourPop in these videos, but here we have the Lush Life collection. So in here we have a 12 pan palette, 3 luxe glosses, 3 cheek dew serums, and 3 cream gel liners. This is a really fun little collection here. The palette is really pretty. I was actually very close to getting this palette because this collection was going to be coming out like a couple of days before a cutoff point, because I had received like a coupon code from ColourPop being like, if you spend $15 on things that this code can work with, then you can get a free Super Shock shadow as a little birthday gift. And I was very close to like getting this palette so that way I could get this palette because it's a very fun little color story and everything, and then also get a free Super Shock shadow in the process. But I decided not to go through with it just because it's not necessarily something that I need, although it is a very, very pretty little palette though. I really do love the color story in it, and this whole collection is just really pretty and fun, and yeah. Even though, like I said, I don't necessarily need it, I do really like the concept behind it. So next up, I got a new launch from Tarte, and this is the Tartelette Juicy palette. Okay, here's the thing. This palette has 2 other versions. There was a 9-pan version of this palette that was launched during holiday of 2020. Although that one definitely, when I look at it now, because I believe that palette is still available in some places, that palette looks more berry toned than it does like this like nudie pink tone type of deal that's going on here. But then they released a, I think it was like a 20-pan palette. I think it was what it was. It was either 20 or 25-pan version of the same palette, same color story and everything, and now they have a 12-pan version. It's just like, why are you releasing this palette so much? It's just weird. I do really like the color scheme in this. It's just that I have shadows similar to these pinky tones already in my collection in the Melt Millennial Pinks palette. It's just that I really do like these very like neutral pink tones. The problem is though, is that all the palettes that I have seen that have these types of shades in them don't have a good mid-tone shade at all. Or at least they don't have a good matte mid-tone pink shade at all. And if they do have a mid-tone pink shade, it's always like a metallic or shimmer or what have you. It's never a matte. And that's the same case for this palette here. I don't know if I'll ever get it. It'll probably be something that'll stay on my radar, but I don't know if I'll actually go through with it. And in a similar vein, we have a new launch from Urban Decay, and this is the Naked 3 mini palette. I am very confused about this. The Naked 3 palette was definitely a naked palette that really shook the beauty world here on YouTube when it first came out, because it was something very different. There weren't any of these like more like pinky tone neutrals on the market really at all. So when that palette came out, it really shook up the makeup world, because at the time Urban Decay, they were on the top of the food chain when it came to makeup releases. Nowadays, not at all. I like the idea of this, but the problem is though is that when you look at the swatches just look so unappealing. Because when you look at the shimmer shades, there's hardly any shine to them. Even in the swatches, these professional swatch photos that they have available, the shimmers don't look exciting. This looks like beginner's makeup and everything, like stuff that a beginner would go after to like get them used to like wearing makeup and everything. I just feel so bad for Urban Decay because like I said, they used to be on top of the food chain, but now they are just... Okay, so next up we have another ColourPop collection. I think this is the last ColourPop collection. Yes, this is the second to last post that I have here today. But this is another launch from ColourPop, and this is the Cherry Obsession collection. I believe that's what this is called. No, the Cherry Crush collection. Another monochromatic collection that they are dropping, and it's cherry themed, and it's very pretty. It's a very pretty collection. The only thing is though, is that they have a monochromatic palette that's very similar to this already. It's kind of like a blend of the Main Squeeze and I think the Strawberry Shake, I think is what that one is called. The other items in this collection besides that Cherry Crush palette are 2 glossy lip stains, which is a new product that they are coming out with. And then there are 2 cream gel liners, 2 cheek dew serums, a BFF liquid liner, cherry hair clips, and a cherry hand mirror. So this is definitely not really something I'm going to go after. I might get the palette at some point in time. I wouldn't be opposed to getting it because I do like red tones and like pinky tones and whatnot. And I do think that the packaging is super cute on this, but I don't necessarily need it. So if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And the last launch that we are going to be talking about today is something that came out earlier in the month, but I completely forgot to add it on here earlier, so I added it now, so we're going to talk about it now. But BH Cosmetics, they had another launch in the month of June, and it was for Pride Month. They had themselves a little Pride launch that they did. They launched an eyeshadow palette, a Give Back Pride palette. And this is a 12-pan palette, and $10 from the sale of each palette will be donated to the Trevor Project for a minimum donation of $25,000, which is wonderful. Now, I didn't talk about any other Pride launch that came out during the month of June and everything, because I feel like a lot of brands use Pride as like a marketing tool and everything. I mean, like we saw with Target. Let's not talk about Target's Pride launch and everything. And I know Morphe had a Pride collection as well, but I don't support Morphe, so that's why I didn't talk about theirs. But this Pride palette though, I really do love, especially with the top row with all the rainbow shades, because all the rainbow shades are named after what each of the colors of the original gay pride flag represented. So life, friendship, energy, nature, harmony, gratitude. And I love that so much. I love that so much. And I also really like the names on the bottom row as well, because you have non-binary, sexuality, art, inclusivity, unity, and celebration. This is such a good palette. This is how you do a Pride collection. And it's just something simple. You're doing donations for the profits and everything. This is how you do it. I definitely want to get this palette. I really want to get this palette. I'm hoping that it's still available. I might break my no buy and get it, because I really do like it. And I like the green shade in here. It's a proper green shade. Again, I mentioned this earlier. And also I really do like the trans colors in here. So like sexuality and art, I really do like those tones of pastels and whatnot. They're very pretty. And I do like the fact that there are like, I guess you could say like 3 neutrals in here with inclusivity, unity, and celebration, which again, I'm very happy that they included those in there with like the more up-to-date Pride flag that's out and about now. So I'm just, all in all, very, very happy with this collection here. And yeah, I definitely want to get this. I'm going to check and see if it's still available. And I might even check and see if it's available at Ulta, because if it's available at Ulta, I'll probably get it through them, because I don't know what BH Cosmetics shipping rates are like. And that is it for the month of June. Those are all the product launches that we are going to be talking about today for the month of June. Like I mentioned, there are definitely some other launches that happen, but those are probably from brands that I don't support, or they just weren't launches that were interesting enough to even talk about. Did you guys pick up any of the things I mentioned in this video? If so, let me know how you felt about them down in the comments below. Are you anti-hauling anything as well, like me? Have you roasted any of the things that I roasted in here as well? Let me know. I'd like to know how you guys feel about the things I've talked about here today. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until I see you guys in the next one, whenever the hell that may be, goodbye.